Yeah. And with that, let's talk about another thing that has been in the articles and will continue to be in the articles.
Yeah. Are we speaking of regulation? Because that's going to be very big. Very,
Regulator.
yeah, for sure. For 2023, I think what we're going to see is a couple things happening. One, we're going to see, of course, with this whole collapse from FTX, what we spent too much time talking about, but which was really important. We're going to see regulators focusing on, you know, bringing some type of protection, to consumers, especially to retailers. Um, when it comes to Web3, when it comes to crypto, DeFi, NFTs, whatever it may be, we're going to see some regulation come into play. The thing that's going to be on our mind and the thing to look out for, though, is how that regulation manifests. Right.
Mhm.
So, in one of our episodes, I want to say it might have been episode 8. I want to say we talked a little bit about some legislation that was coming through Washington. In the latter parts of this year, they were hoping to get that regulation passed, that bill passed. Funny enough, SBF was big behind it, and a lot of the crypto world was against it. I think that regulation is going to be something that will come back into the spotlight, and essentially, what that regulation was looking at is, how do we classify different types of tokenized assets, right? Should all tokens fall under the SEC, right? Should some tokens fall under the SEC, some under the FTC, some other regulators and regulation. So I think we'll see more clarity in 2023 around what that is. What we don't want to see is everything thrown into the SEC box,
Mhm.
right? One thing that may pose as a problem is in terms of the general economic outlook, right? When we talk about these businesses that are trying to build with this technology, build different companies around this technology, if everything is looked at as a security and everything is under that SEC, there's higher costs that are associated with that. And so we can see a lot of businesses that, aren't necessarily operating within that securities realm start to look at new places for them to set up shop, right?
Mm.
We can see, in terms of the economy, the US economy being left behind because, the SEC is hell bent on being the main regulator for all things Web3 when that, it's not a one size fit all type of industry. So we'll see how that plays out. I think that, just based off of the bill that was in Congress, the bill that they wanted to bring to the floor, but some regulations saying, hey, if this is something that's basically a token that could basically be stock within a company, of course, that's a security. But if it's just tokenizing an asset, but that asset is a commodity, like in an NFT that is solely for utility, solely for being related to some type of digital asset or even a physical asset, then that should fall under the FTC and that should be more of a commodity. I think if we see something like that, that's going to be a better situation for the market at large and honestly for the U.S. economy, because this is the next step in the business revolution, the next step in innovation. So we'll see what happens. Definitely be on the lookout for where regulators, where legislators are leaning when it comes to putting these bills on the floor and how regulators will monitor the market at large. Very important. Very, very important.